Every therapist, every behavioral consultant, every resource that you've ever been given from a therapist about supporting your autistic child has probably had some version of this advice buried in it. Stay calm. And almost none of them tell you why or how, beyond the vague idea that kids pick up on your energy. But what does that even mean? Something soft or zen, but it's not. The reality is it's not. The reason your regulation state directly impacts your child's regulation state is neurological. There's a biological connection between you and your child. And once you understand the actual mechanism, staying calm stops being just the advice or suggestion from a therapist and starts being the most concrete clinical tool that you have. And that's what this video is about. Hi, for those of you who are new here, I'm Dr. Dana Johnson. I'm an occupational therapist with a PhD in child mental health and development, and I help parents of complex autistic children understand what's really driving their child's challenges. So I want to start with something a parent said to me that I think a lot about. She had a 9-year-old son who was non-speaking with complex autism. She'd been doing this for 9 years, so she was not a beginner. And she came into a session one afternoon and said to me with genuine frustration, "Everyone keeps telling me to regulate myself. But when he's in the middle of a meltdown and I've been awake since 2 a.m. and I haven't eaten and this is the third meltdown today, what does that even mean? How do they expect me to do that?" And I love that she was being honest and just raw with me. And she deserves so much more than just me saying, well, just take a deep breath. So here's what I want to give you today. Not only the what to do, but the understanding that makes the what to do make sense, and the practice that makes it actually possible, even on the days that are already a complete and utter mess before they begin. So let's start with this term co-regulation because it gets thrown around a lot. So what is it? Well, it's the process by which one nervous system or your nervous system influences and stabilizes another, like your child's, through proximity, tone, touch, and just even your presence. It isn't a way to parent, so to speak. It's actually a biological function. So human nervous systems, all of them, ours included, from infancy, are wired to read the arousal state of the people closest to them and unconsciously move towards matching it. And this is what we call neuroception, or our nervous system's continuous, not even thinking below consciousness, scanning of the environment for cues of safety or threat. And the most powerful cues, it reads, aren't actually words. They are the body signals of the people that we're around and who we're attached to. So things like your pace of movement, your vocal tone and tempo, your facial expression, your breathing rate, your physical tension, all of these are going to affect the other person's nervous system. So specifically with your child, they're reading all of this constantly, automatically, without choosing to, without thinking about it, and then they're using it to calibrate their own threat assessment. So when your nervous system says safe, then their nervous system gets the signal, okay, everything's good, we're safe. But when your nervous system says threat, even if there's no threat that even exists, it's just that you're so exhausted and tired and tight and just literally trying to hold it together, their nervous system gets the signal threat. And this is how the autonomic nervous system works. Now, this co-regulation process actually happens in all children, but for children with autism, and particularly the complex and non-speaking autistic children, the stakes are often higher for a very specific reason. Many autistic children have what researchers describe as a lower window of tolerance. So that means that their nervous system reaches the edge of its regulated range much more quickly than neurotypical children and takes them longer to return to baseline once they have been dysregulated. Now, they are also often less able to self-regulate independently, particularly when they're young in the early and middle childhood stages. And that's because the internal regulation skills that develop, partly through co-regulation experiences over time, are still being built. And what this means is that your child's nervous system is more dependent on external co-regulation than a neurotypical child. So if you have more than one child, you're going to see these differences. And your autistic child is going to be more sensitive to the signals it receives. So that's why your calm matters more in this case, not less. And your dysregulation, which is entirely understandable, completely human moments, I get it, of being at the very end of your rope. These moments will land with more weight on your child's nervous system than it would on a child whose window of tolerance is much wider. Now, I'm not saying this to add more stress or guilt. I'm saying it because understanding this mechanism is what is going to transform the mindset and move towards progress. It gives you a reason that makes sense so that you can make the shift. Okay, so what does this look like practically? Well, I'm going to give you 3 things that you can practice. Okay, number 1, know your own early warning signs. So before you can regulate, you have to know when you're leaving regulation. And your body is actually going to tell you this before your brain does. So for most people, it's a combination of physical signals. Like I said, your jaw's tightening, your breathing might change, your shoulders start to rise, your voice changes. So I suggest that parents spend 1 week paying attention to what your body does in the 20 or so seconds before you feel yourself escalate. Now, this takes practice. We can't always do this every single time or the first time. And that sequence is actually going to be your personal early warning system. So when you know your signs, you can intervene in your own nervous system before you fully left that green zone, which is dramatically easier than trying to return to it from the red zone. Okay, secondly, build your return route. Now, you are going to leave that regulated state. Every parent does, every individual does. But the question is, how quickly can you return? So your return route needs to be physiological, not cognitive, because we all know this. Telling yourself to calm down is not going to work. Your body needs physical input. And so when we look at the evidence, the strongest evidence suggested things like extended exhale breathing. So inhaling for 4 counts, exhaling for 6 or 8. The extended exhale is going to activate what we call the parasympathetic or our calming nervous system directly. The second thing is slow, deliberate movement. So dropping your shoulders, unclenching your hands, softening your face, all intentionally, really thinking about it. And if needed, sometimes cold water, if you can splash that on your face, if you need to regulate faster, that often helps. Find your 2 or 3 that you think could work for you, and then practice them when you're already calm so that they will come more easily, rather than trying to do it when things are escalating. And definitely practice this in front of your kids, because they will start to see you do these things and then recognize that this is what returning to safe looks like. And number 3, repair without overcorrection. Now, we all are going to have our moments guaranteed of complete dysregulation, where you're not regulated and your child feels it, where you escalated when you meant to stay calm, or when you were in absolute survival mode and it showed. Now, what you do after these moments for your child is huge. So this is what I suggest. Return to your child when you've gotten back into the green zone. Get close within their comfort level, be calm and present, and don't say anything. Let your nervous system say to theirs, I left, I was struggling, but I came back, and it's safe again. And that pattern of rupture and repair done consistently over time actually is what's going to build your child's nervous system resilience. And that's our goal, because it teaches them that dysregulation is survivable, that the person that they depend on can leave safety, but can also return to it. You don't need to be perfectly regulated all the time. You just need to be reliably repairable. Now, I want to come back to that mom that I talked about at the beginning. Remember her question? What does regulate yourself even mean? And how do I do that? And the answer I gave her was this: your nervous system is not a switch. You cannot just turn it on and off. It's a practice. And like any practice, it becomes more automatic the more you practice it. In the ordinary moments, practice building the neural pathways that your body can find faster when things get hard. And I asked her to pick one and try it over the next few weeks. Now, she came back the following session and said that she tried the extended exhale during a difficult morning. And she looked at me straight in the face and said, it didn't fix anything. But, she said, I stayed in the room, I didn't escalate. And he regulated faster than he ever did. Now, that is huge. She stayed in the room and her son regulated faster. That's it. That's the whole thing. Now, your regulation doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be graceful even. It just has to keep you present enough to be the safety that your child's nervous system is looking for. Now, if this video got you thinking and gave you some hope, please share it with one parent who needs to hear that their own nervous system matters. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel as well, because I will continue to give you the tools that you need to be the best parent or caregiver that you can be. And tell me in the comments what works for you to best calm. What brings you back when you've left regulation? Now, I genuinely want to know, because those answers help every parent reading the comments. Thank you, and I will see you on the next video.